What's really good, everyone? We about to take it outside for a little bit. You already know. Shout to the flag up in the corner you just saw. You already know. Um, Something that's going to be talked about today is actually pretty deep. I usually don't talk much about the Vlad interviews I watch. That's how I gain an understanding of the different artists and the artistry in the game and how it's kind of moving in a certain direction. But today I'm actually about to address something that happened on Vlad's couch by the infamous, the well-known, a legend in his own right, Lord Jamar. And something he addressed that was real. And it's something that I can't imagine any other, let's say, established black man actually coming out and saying. And that's that the Black Lives Matter movement is not our movement. And, he talked and he said things that you could check out down below, but I'm fully in agreement, and I'm going to add my own 2 cents on why I agree with him that Black Lives Matter movement does not embody us as black men and women or any other individuals that is in supporting of black rights, civil rights for that matter. A lot of things that have been occurring under umbrella of Black Lives Matter, we now see is a violent struggle of some sort. Not saying that there aren't peaceful Black Lives Matter protests, but for the most part, it is a physical struggle for power, to have power. And one thing we need to understand, that movements of this nature that aren't organized don't work. Because what happens is private thoughts and private feelings get involved. So if I have a Black Lives Matter movement, and these are just examples, in Chicago, and that Black Lives Matter movement merges with gangbanging. So Black Lives Matter people who support that ideology begin gangbanging with police officers and different individuals who don't believe. Well, that has now taken another turn, but that imagery is going to be projected onto the Black Lives Matter movement in Detroit, because not about proximity, but just because that's their ideology from Chicago. So if I was someone who came from Chicago and I see Black Lives Matter, I'm going to expect them to act and be the same. Honestly, it's the same thing if you think about a Ku Klux Klan movement or a Nazi movement. These movements are equally negative, ignorant, and violent wherever you go. Now, they don't need to be necessarily violent, but at given the right circumstance of what they don't believe so easily, like a group of black men in front of them, they're going to react the same for the most part, because they believe strongly against or for something to that extent. The thing that scares me about the Black Lives Matter movement, it's not a belief more so than them preaching an ideology. And when you throw out an ideology instead of giving it a powerful stance, like a belief, like a foundation, almost like a church for a Christian or a mosque for Islamists, like you give a wide room for definition to be defined by a person and not by a movement. So if we look at the Nazi parties, the Ku Klux Klan, they all equally do not like individuals who may be different from them, who may not have blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever they believe in, whatever that is. But in this Black Lives Matter movement thing, it's defined from state to state. Like, there are some Black Lives Matter individuals that have been caught doing crime on the side, and there are some that has not been caught doing any of that. But because they call themselves Black Lives Matter, it's unanimous across the world, and you represent that person. Whereas, even if that's the case for Nazis or Ku Klux Klan, that doesn't affect them, because they're all equally in belief that they are a superior race. So for the Black Lives Matter movement, that is one of the reasons why I said, instead of taking it the way it goes, that taking it a legal way would be better. So in a court of law, taking funds for proceedings and actually hiring lawyers that deal with specific cases that work towards the growth of the Black Lives Matter ideology, instead of taking the side route where you're marching down the street, busting things, breaking things. You don't understand. If no one's ever said this to you, it is more murderous to a person with a smile than murdering them. Because when people show you ill intentions, people say, kill them with kindness. And it's so true, because I know many times that people who I know didn't like me, and they seen that I was very calm and very salute, it killed them, because they're like, why is he okay that I don't like him? Why is he okay even though I don't agree with him, or even though me and him aren't on par? Well, it's for many different reasons why that kills people. But one of the main reasons is because you're choosing to do different. When you choose to do things different, it shocks people and it changes everything around you. So that's why for these Black Lives Matter movement, I would like to refine it and let them know that the Black Lives Matter movement needs to be in a judicial manner. It needs to be in more than a social way. Yes, social media gets eyes, it gets attention. You have that down pat. You have that ideology together. Now it's time to take it to a legal standing where you actually affect the world around you, and you actually affect the rules and regulations being created. It's more than that, and that is why the Black Lives Matter movement as it is not for us. It is time for us to use our brains. See, that's the one thing that really didn't get implemented because we were fighting for knowledge. Our ancestors fought for the right to gain knowledge. So how did they have time to study if they were too busy fighting for the right to study? But now we're in a country where we can do that, and we don't. We literally take the moments and waste them, because either we don't see the value in ourselves, or we don't see the values in others around us. We see the value in what we're saying, but we don't see the value in humanity. And that is where you lose. If you don't catch the value in humanity, you'll lose it. If you lose all humanity, you lose your path, you lose the right to your rightful fate, and you're given what you asked for or what you earned instead of what you deserve. And that's something that people need to analyze. That's why the whole Black Lives Matter movement, that's why Martin Luther King did it the way he did it. It wasn't because he was scared to fight, or he couldn't throw his hands up. He'd probably knock most of y'all out. Martin Luther King, he probably square up and knock most of you out if you research this man. The reason he didn't fight is because he knew the meaning of humanity. That humanity deserves something better than the violence it was being given, even if it was being projected on his own. Even if we were being used as dummies, I know that the better way is to be humane and make the decisions that better all my people instead of my own selfish wants. He wanted to punch somebody in the face. He wanted to run out there with an AK. He wanted to do all that. If you read about him, you see he had moments where he broke down. He had moments where he was weak with his family. But what kept him strong is the ideology of the black man and woman being able to accomplish the same as any other race. And now that we're able to accomplish the same, people have lost vision and sight of what matters. And now we're worried about the things that never matter. So the things that are monetary, the things that you can get another one of. Human life is priceless. And that's the problem nowadays. We're so dulled down and dumbed down to violence and different things that, oh, another kid gets shot. Oh, another child going missing. Oh, somebody else got raped. Like another woman got raped. It's crazy because we're living in a world where this is happening on the regular, and we have many more people not participating. Well, let's say too many people not participating in the fuckery for us to allow that to define who we are. And that's what my whole basis of all rights reserved once again is to show you that your humanity is more important than any monetary gain you have. That your rights above all things is what's going to solidify you in this world as who you are. So if no one's allowed to violate your rights, you have grounds to be that person that you were meant to be. You have the platform to become that king or queen that you aim to be. So all your rights are intact and you are who you are without any shading, any sideshow, any curtain close. And that's the way a show's supposed to go on. And that's what my whole premise is, to empower you. So I want everyone to think about it after you watch this video. below. Let me know what you think about Lord Jamar's comments, what you think. Do you think that he was being a little bit too much, or do you think he was spot on? You know, he may have said things in a different way, but that is my interpretation of a Black Lives Matter movement not being for us, because we're better than that. Not that we're better than Black Lives Matter, but we're better than decreasing to a violent matter to get a point across. A point across can be made through simple words. The tongue is the most powerful thing. Many wars started off of simple words, and that's what most people need to realize. That your words and your view is just as important as being able to shoot a gun or punch someone in the face. It's all pivotal into whether you go left or right, up or down. And you got to keep your mind and your head straight across. When you're looking to go forward, do you look up? Do you look to the left? Do you look right? You look straight ahead. And that's how you run for your goals and dreams. That's number one, man. You know, like, share, subscribe. Let me see them comments below. I need more comments. Let me see them comments below. Let me know what you think. I'm putting out too much for you guys not to be speaking. So let me know. Say whatever, you know. Shout out to the people that I did read your comments. I like them and let you know that I read them, you know. Shout out to you. All rights reserved.